flower, and I mean, in all, in best case scenario, you have the whole spectrum throughout the whole plant life. You want to limit your UV at certain times, and then at the end you should hit it with the UV, and that's where that finishing bulb comes in. The last 2 weeks we offer a 10K. It's strong on the UV. If you flash your plant those last 2 weeks with heavy UV, you're going to notice the purples turn out. You're going to notice the sugar production. Now, obviously, we're talking about a specific type of plant, but I mean, if you're growing other things, it's still as effective. That fruit is going to fruit. Your yield is going to improve. I mean, it's just...
So for the indoor gardener,
right.
For the novice indoor gardener, what they need to understand that you've got a couple of issues. You've obviously got nutrients, you've got the overall environment, and then you've got a stage of lighting that needs to take place at every...
Do you want me to break down lighting like times, like periods? Like,
yeah, and then, for example, let's say cannabis. I mean, we've got, again, in Rhode Island...
I'd love to take cannabis and talk about that. That's great.
Because in Rhode Island, we've got the ability now for folks to grow limited quantities of their own, illegally. So we want to help people do that. And your product...
I'm so up for that, dude. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, starting out, you've got an individual. Money may or may not be an object. They're starting out with a home
4x4 tent.
Okay.
That's your standard 4x4 tent. Usually, I used to work in retail, right? So you get these guys coming in all the time. They've never grown before. I'm looking to get started, and the retail guys are stoked about this when they hear that. I mean, you're able to kind of show them the way at that point.
Right.
It's what we love to do, so or what I loved to do previously. So you're going to get them a 4x4 tent, most likely. You're going to get them a single 1,000-watt light, air-cooled, run a fan, and a carbon filter. You're selling multiple products at that point as a retail associate, and you're getting them the best possible situation. You're fully controlling the environment.
Right.
You're probably just going to get an HPS light. You're probably not going to get the metal halide because you want quantity of light. You need a foundation light to start with. Once you have that 1,000-watt HPS in your garden, you can really build from there. You can step into an LED world. You can step into a metal halide world. You can do a lot of different things, do a lot of experimenting. That's another thing we love to do is run lights side by side and whatnot. I spoke with a gentleman yesterday. Bottom line is I want to throw in Solus Tech here again because I spoke with a gentleman yesterday. He switched all his lights from Gavita to Solus Tech and saw a 15% yield increase. I'm talking about a guy who was running 32 lights. So
Right.
I'm not talking about our 4x4 tent guys anymore. I just want to say, I mean, in comparison, I got off on this tangent. I mentioned the word experiment,
Right.
Which gets me excited because when you run our lights next to our competitors, they're producing better. So that's an experiment you could run if you're an experienced grower and you're listening right now. Please pick up one of our lights, pick up a Gavita light, pick up a Hortilux light, run them side by side, and let's go.
Right.
But the new growers, grab a 4x4 tent, grab a 1,000-watt HPS light, a hood that can be air-cooled, get a fan, get a carbon filter. You maybe want to put 4 plants. People always ask me, how many plants, man, can I fit in this little area? It's like, dude, don't worry about that. It's not about how many plants. It's about how many watts. That's the biggest thing I guess I can tell you right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's more important to get plants that are properly cultivated, properly attended to, properly light.
Oh, 100%. Don't
Right.
worry about quantity of plants. Worry about quantity of light. And then at that point, just seal that environment and really meet their needs. That's what you're doing. You're frustrating females. You're putting no males near them. They're trying to attract males. That's why they're flowering, right? That's why they're reaching for males, so to speak. You're sexually frustrated. It's a room full of sexually frustrated females. It's really, really funny.
Sounds like Pat's marriage.
He's more than one? He's got more than one? We're talking plural here? This guy's the man.
We run a local version. We run a local version of the LDS here. It's
tread lightly, man.
But okay, so are you LDS?
Yeah, I don't even want to comment. Once again, no comment.
Okay, so now that's at the home level. Now, of course, in springing up around the Northeast, you have different compassion centers who are also involved in a more sophisticated level of production. Yep. What type of product do you have to offer them?
Yeah, that's really what I get excited about talking about. These guys who are trying to grow for dispensaries or caregivers, the guys who are really in it for the right reasons. There's lots of setups. There's lots of options you can do. I totally would recommend you hop on our website.
Which is?
Jesus. Of course, I got to look at my business card. solustech.com, but just don't worry about the hyphen. Just make sure you put the hyphen between Solus and Tech. That's the thing that gets me.
SOLIS-TEK.com.
Yes, it's Tech spelled incorrectly, but it's cool. It's kind of hip. You know what I'm saying? I've worked with these guys for a month. You gotta give me a break on
It's
that.
all good.
I'll tell you what, though. They flew me out to L.A. when they hired me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Introduced me to everybody. Gave me a car for the week. I returned the car late the last day. I come back here. I go to New York City. I mean, I'm traveling all over the place. It's been like the time of my life this past month. So I have nothing but good things to say about them. But going back to what you just asked me about these larger growers. Listen, I mean, guys are doing commercial greenhouses where they're utilizing the sun. Mm-hmm. They're utilizing the sun, okay? So they have their lights in their greenhouse, but they can open the roof. If you guys have money out there and you want to start a dispensary or you want to start caregiving or growing on a large scale, you need to look into this. I'm sure you've already heard of it. If you're already thinking about it, you must have already done your due diligence. But please, get a greenhouse, open the roof, use the sun during the day and supplement with the light. That way your power bill isn't that expensive. You're getting quantity from your plants at that point, and you're able to serve more patients. It allows you more freedom. When you want to talk about financially, I mean, there's that as well. But I want to tread lightly once I use that phrase again, because it's not about making money. I don't think right now. I mean, everybody needs to survive. So yeah, you're sell when you need to sell. But I think it's a help. This industry is to help people. This industry.
It's a remarkable time
makes
because
people happy. Everything growing, ingesting, cooking with it, coming to these conventions, talking with everyone. I mean, the crowd. It's a fun environment. It's not you don't feel like you're getting like you walk into like a cell phone retail shop, you're getting like berated. It's not like that at these shops. You're chilling with these guys. These guys are chilling. They're there for a reason, and they just want to help you get to where they are. They're very relaxed, comfortable with who they are, and people are. There's a stigma. There's people looking down upon this industry right now. Bigger companies are treading, walking this thin line whether or not to get involved.
Right.
I think pretty soon we're going to see that stigma disappear, because there's money here for them. Unfortunately, they're going to come. But I still think the good people that started making this, like the coalition, these companies that started getting this industry out there are still going to be there, and they're still going to...
Well, it's a remarkable opportunity. It's the only similar environment that I can describe in my lifetime was the personal computer industry when it started out.
Come up with the computer industry?
Yeah, when it started out in the early 80s, you had this sort of groundswell of individual entrepreneurs, some who survived, some who didn't, the shakeout, and then the ultimate, invasion by corporate interests. At the same time, you had the same sort of battle, if you will. At that time, it was the individual personal computer companies who were taking on the big computer companies, IBM, DEC, companies like that. Now, of course, you've got the individual cannabis entrepreneur who's essentially challenging the home rule, if you will, of the big pharmaceutical companies.
I have to tell you, I have a good friend, okay? He's very successful in the computer industry. His name is Jim Grubb. I'm going to name drop. You know him?
No, but...
He's the CFO of Cisco Systems.
Okay.
He was good friends with my dad's mom, my grandmother's. God rest her soul, she passed away. She said, no, I wasn't going to go out. I'm not going to go with you out to L.A. on this whim that is Cisco Systems years ago.
Yeah.
He went. Cisco worked out. So he's doing well for himself right now.
I mean... Cisco's a player.
My thinking, for the longest time, I would call Jim every day and say, "Here's my idea for the computer world. Here's my next biggest. I'm in touch with the youth. I got your next social media idea, whatever." I was thinking, coming up with ideas, trying to break into an industry that already popped.
Right.
And then I said to myself, like, I just took a step back and realized where I was in this industry, and maybe, I think in this world, I don't see it imploding. I just see it exploding. But I think that's the two options here.
Right.
I think that it's going to explode. I think it's just ready to take off here.
Right.
So that's why I'm here.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, politically, literally opposition, and I hate to phrase it this way, but it's God's honest truth, political opposition to the legalization of cannabis is literally dying off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a generational thing.
Can I comment on? I want to rant a little bit, because to have a platform here is cool.
Come closer.
Let's be honest with what's going on here. All right. We have these pharmaceutical companies. Am I allowed to go there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I have friends who I've lost. Prescription pills, heroin, right? Everybody in this room, guaranteed, probably has that going on in their lives. In this area, Providence, Boston, it's terrible. It's awful throughout the country, all right? It starts with them, okay? You go into your doctor, you have chronic pain, your back hurts, whatever. You're prescribed these pills, man. That shit's bullshit, man. You can smoke weed and feel better, and that's the truth, all right? You don't need to go into this world of prescription pills. If you do need to, by all means do it, but like, it's a slippery slope. This stuff isn't gonna kill you. I drink less, I feel great. You know, it's a whole world surrounding it. You should step into this world and step away from, I mean, you're sucked in at that point. You're addicted to that stuff. You can't beat that pain without those pills. So they start you, I mean, no shit, weed isn't huge, or cannabis isn't huge, because it can't be. It could replace paper, the clothing industry, energy. You can make plastic. I know you guys have gone for, this is what you guys do. So how many times have you put this over your airwaves? I mean, it's going to knock out every industry. Oil. I mean, why the hell do we cut down the things that allow us to breathe? We're the smartest race on Earth, or the smartest species on Earth. We arrogantly say that. And we cut down freaking trees, man, that take 100 years to grow to make paper, where we can just grow this hemp weed that takes 6 months, dude.
Because vested political and financial interests control certain marketplaces.
Easy answer. So why don't we just run with it? Why don't we push that out there more and get it in people's faces? People don't like it, but I don't care.
That's what we do here on our radio show.
I'm really happy to hear that, man.
I mean, that's we aggressively confront a lot of the conventional wisdoms, the urban legends, the taboos, all the things that people obsess over, and at the same time really prevents the...
How about oil? How long does it take for rock to break down to oil, man?
A few million years.
Yeah, that's all. So let's take that before, when we can run our cars on hemp. We absolutely can. We can run our cars on other things besides hemp. Forget smoking it, all right, for a second. For 1 second, everybody. Just stop tripping about smoking the plant, and let's use it for things that are going to literally save our, like, I don't know if it's too late, but I think we're being kind of pussies about it.
Oh, no, what happens is, about 15, 20 years ago, you had certain people in the popular culture.
You said the F word.
Oh, yeah.
So
this is the internet.
So I
don't give a fuck what you say on the internet. All right. Who you insult? This is internet radio. This is why we do it.
I love it.
For folks who are just hearing the Coalition and RI Free Radio for the first time, there are two components to this. We have an AM radio show where we have to be nice, and we can't insult. Well, actually, we have to be kind of nice. And we can't use dirty words. And we're on every week on Saturday nights at 6 o'clock. And... We call it civilly disobedient radio because we routinely espouse civil disobedience. We routinely espouse destruction of conventional wisdoms and urban myths, and we routinely take on political authorities. So that's what we do on the nice radio. On this radio, it's no rules, just right. It's the whole point of this, and this stream is 24 hours a day. Probably Tony Jones is, and Tony, feel free to jump in, probably the overall best combination of tunes, politics, and popular culture that you're going to hear on really any radio show.
Over here?
That's him. So, Tony, talk about the Tony Jones show and some of the other things we do. And then
well, I've been called the most legitimate man in alternative media, which was supposed to be a compliment, but I took it as an insult. You know, we've kind of tried to fill that void of content being king. You know, everybody who does shows here, they do it with us because that's their passion. It's not a 9-to-5 punch the clock job for them. You know, this really is it's a labor of love for all of us. We all could be spending time with our families and doing other things and making money, but you know, I mean, we're doing this because we're doing it because we love it. You know, we love it.
And making money.
I mean, you're never going to hear it. And what's interesting too, and I want to get back to Solistech in a second, but what's interesting about the whole radio business right now, General Motors are shipping cars that have streaming internet in them.
Right.
Okay? Within 3 to 5 years max, that technology will be perfected. At that point in time, the legitimacy, the need, the rationale for what Howard Stern would refer to as terrestrial radio simply ceases to exist. Any one of a half a dozen variants of what's considered quote-unquote alternate music, and it's only alternate because it's not given enough opportunity to room to breathe in the conventional culture, all right, you can listen to. So at that point in time, why do you have to listen to the crappy radio that's inflicted on us all over the country? So, I mean, that's the reason why we're here. But to get back to Solistech, all right, so you guys manufacture and sell and distribute a wide range of products that ranges both from the home user, all right, the first time grower, sure, right on up to the professional level of caregivers and compassion centers.
We have commercial hoods and lighting setups, and we have residential hoods and lighting setups. Sure, that's, I guess, the terminology